It's day one of our 5-day fast. We're doing this DIY style. We are following the guidelines of the fasting mimicking diet. And for all of you guys who I've ever heard from who say you don't have anybody to fast with in real life, this is why we are here together. Let's do this together. So today is day one. I'm hosting a group fast. And a couple of the questions that came up were, can I take my multivitamin? Yes, you can take your multivitamin, you can take your prebiotics, and you can do all of that stuff. However, I would not take collagen. The reason for that is because collagen is made up of amino acids, which is protein, and we are keeping our protein way down, way down. All right, so just to give you a look at this, just in case this is new to you, these are the measurements that we are going by. So on day one, we are eating less than 1,100 calories. This is the fasting mimicking diet. We do a DIY version, and there's a very specific breakdown of macronutrients. So it's high fat, moderate carb, super low protein to get us into a true fasted state, which is going to happen over a day or two. Days 2 to 5, we're eating under 800 calories. And then this is the breakdown of these macronutrients. So you can screenshot that. And then you know how to start building your own menu. If you don't want to build your own menu, you can download ours, and that is a great start. But today, I am very hungry. Like I said, it's day one. It's 3:02 local time, and I have not had anything to eat yet, which is okay for the most part, especially when the days are busy. But now I am famished. I never want to get to this point where I'm super hungry because it just makes being in a fasted state very hard. And of course, managing our food and not pigging out. So last night, I always tell everybody, like, don't pig out going into a fast because, you get nervous, you want to pig out, you don't want to be hungry. Don't do that. Did I take my own advice yesterday? Yes and no. I didn't stuff the face yesterday, but I did have a midnight snack. So I woke up this morning. I was pretty full still. I don't normally eat at midnight anymore. It's a huge shift from my regular eating habits. So let's do our breakfast. So for our breakfast, real basic. Oh gosh, brought out this trusty scale again. Ugh, the food scale. Boo. So I got my plate already on it. Let's hit the tare to make sure that it's at 0.0. Our first item are walnuts. I kind of splashed out and treated myself to nice walnuts. 6 grams of walnuts. These are from the farmer's market, and I'm telling you, they're so fresh and delicious. We're at 7.2. 5.9. Yay! Reset the tare. And then we're going to do some carrots. I think it's like 50 grams of carrots. And so I got rainbow carrots this time around. Let's see what that weighs. 40 grams. Let's do a pretty purple one. You would think that my favorite color is purple. It is not. Okay, we're at 48.7. I could slice a little bit at a time to get to 50, but I'm not going to do that. But I am going to slice these up just a tad because I like to have my carrots just kind of looking prettier. I've been doing this for years, dudes. For years. Just cutting my carrots up. There we go. Reset the tare. Now we need 80 grams of cucumber and avocado. So Persian cucumber. This is actually kind of wet because I just washed it. Make sure that your food is dry so you're not adding water weight. 92.5. So if I cut off the tips, we're at 90.7. Now I am only allowed 80 grams. So I can shave this off, or I can remove 10 grams of cucumber later on in the day for my lunch salad. And that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty. Isn't this fun? Watching me slice. All right, so let's pile on our cucumbers. This is really for anybody who hasn't seen me actually prep the food yet. And I'm going to make a note because we will forget, minus 10 grams of cucumber later on in the day. But even if I forgot and I ended up eating 10 grams more of cucumbers, it's probably like this much and it doesn't matter. You'll still get into a fasted state. All right, so we're at 0 again, and then we need 80 grams of avocado. This little guy has been sitting in my fridge forever. I'm having deja vu because I'm pretty sure I have said this before. I was lucky last time. Oh, okay. Let's see. I was not expecting this to look so good. But let's peel this baby off. 80 grams is what we're looking for. That's 34.1. Yeah. And then we want, what is that? 46 more grams of avocado, ideally. Okay, let's just see. 73-ish grams in total. So we are allowed about 72.8, about 7 grams of avocado later on in the day. Now, you can totally do that. You don't have to add on the additional avocado if you don't want to, but we definitely have to season our food because that's going to make it taste way more delish. I'm a salt fiend. We're up lots of pepper. Love me my pepper. Oh, ooh, she beautiful. All right, so this is our plate. Hello again. This is our breakfast plate. OMG. I like to just dip my walnuts and everything in the salt and pepper. These are good. Okay, so that's breakfast. You would think purple is my favorite color. It is not, but obviously I love it. Okay, so that's our breakfast plate, which I'm having at 3 p.m. So only because I've done this many times, I'm going to probably skip my dinner. After this, I'll have my snack, and then I'll have my gigantic lunch salad for my dinner. And so it's not going to give me a lot of time to continue to eat because I don't want to just keep eating for the sake of eating. Well, I'm only doing this because I've done this many times. So if you are a first-time faster or very novice faster, then don't do that. Eat all of the meals, eat all of your calories, right? Eat all of your 1,100 calories for day 1. And that's the breakdown of food. Not for every single meal, but in total for the day. And that is going to get us into a true fasted state by Wednesday. Today is Monday. So it takes most people a day or 2 days to get into a true fasted state. For me, because I've been doing this quite often now, this is my round 19. I tend to get into a fasted state pretty quickly. So especially if I'm going to skip my dinner, I'm going to measure my ketones tomorrow morning and with this doodad, and I am probably going to be in low ketosis. So in terms of the macros, you saw the macros. In terms of tools, the only essential tool you need is a food weight scale, and that is it. Just prior to your fast, just make sure it works. So turn it on, make sure you put something on it, test it. You might have to recharge it. You might have to get batteries for it. And then only if you're curious, this is not a must-have. You don't have to measure your ketones. If you check out the menu that we offer, and you follow it to a T, then you will get into a fasted state. I've done this many times. All right. Sadly, let's talk about drinks. Sadly, this is a gorgeous bottle of wine that I have to, I think, just drain or waste. There's this much left. I'm so sad to not drink it anymore, but I forgot to drink the rest of it on the weekend. Oh, it smells so good. I don't really have any neighbors around who would just take my leftover wine. It's kind of a weird thing to ask if anybody wants. So obviously no drinking during a fast, but instead of that kind of drinking, I have this kind of drinking. These are my favorite sparkling waters. This brand, this is not sponsored. I'm not selling anything at this point in time. strawberry hibiscus and black cherry lime. Yum! So I load up the fridge with this, but sometimes I want something hot. So for hotness, and this is shocking, but Vulture Longo says ideally we're not ingesting any caffeine during the fast. So like no coffee. Ugh. So anyway, I've done fasting rounds doing coffee and not coffee. There's almost no difference for me, but of course, who knows? So I'm going to lean into the experts and believe that when Vulture Longo says ideally we're not drinking coffee or too much black tea or green tea, even though there's less coffee in green tea than compared to coffee, I'm just going to try to steer clear of caffeine this week. We'll see how I do. Anyway, another product that I'm trying is this guy. It's called Nummy, herbal coffee alternative. It's made with a bunch of like dandelion greens. What is it made out of? Roasted extracts from barley, rye, chicory, dandelion root extract, barley malt, and natural flavors. There's a little bit of carbs, there's a little bit of protein, a tiny bit. So 1 teaspoon is only 5 calories. So when we're taking our total day into consideration, we're looking at this, and on day 1, 5 calories for 1 teaspoon. I literally only had 1 teaspoon of this stuff. And there's no added sugar. That's a good thing because we're doing no added sugar. This is a very low sugar week. And then carbs. Well, when it comes to fat, let's look at the fat. 0 grams for 1 teaspoon. Now, when we see something like that on a package, that's for 1 teaspoon. If you were to measure out 1 tablespoon, you might start seeing some fat. But for now, it's 0 grams for 1 teaspoon. So I only did the one. When it comes to carbs, for 1 teaspoon, it's 2 grams of carbs. So my total day today, I'm not to exceed 93 grams of carbs. The reason why I know that the 1 teaspoon of this is not going to muck up me getting into a true fasted state is because all you got to do is shave 2 grams of carbs off of your food. So what's a carb? This is a starchy vegetable, higher in carbs compared to a lot of other things. There's carbs, a little bit of carbs in everything on this plate. So you could shave that off. For me in particular, I'm going to probably skip my dinner tonight. So that's going to be a lot less than 93 grams of carbs for my day. And then for protein, this 1 teaspoon only has 0.1 grams of protein. So not a lot of protein. We're sticking very low protein during the fast, 27 grams for day 1. Then we drop it down to 16 grams tomorrow for the rest of the week. It's fine. It's fine. So that's why this is my coffee alternative. There's no caffeine. We'll see how I have a different fast, maybe. We'll see how things change. And it is caramel flavored, I believe. Yes, caramel flavored. But there's no added sugar. And so when you taste it, does it taste like coffee? No. Does it provide a brownish hot beverage? Yes. Yes, so that's cool. Does it taste like caramel? Not really, but if you smell it, it's like got just a hint of a caramelly, sweet kind of flavor. So it's nice. Where did I buy it? Not on Amazon. I bought it in an actual store, but I'm sure it's available on Amazon. Okay, so that's my alternative. Other drinks. While we are on the topic of drinks, ashwagandha tea, baby. This has been my go-to in the evenings. Instead of having a glass of wine or something else that I would prefer to have, I've been doing some ashwagandha tea, and I'm sure there's lots of different brands, but this one, so nice. So I really like this one. It kind of intimidated me at first because I thought this is going to taste nasty, but it tastes so nice. It's really almost floral. It's super mild, and it's so good. The best part is almost the little messages on the tea bags. I mean, I don't normally say this, but if you know, you know. Those messages are amazing. Okay, what else do we have here? We have, this one is all right. But anything like this is an herbal tea. There's so many different flavors. So go nuts on the herbal teas. I have never been a fan of chamomile, but lately I am. So this is leftover chamomile, herbal supplement. Sure. I mean, don't drink like 50 cups of tea, but if you want like up to 10, it's wonderful. So I do a mix of the hot drinks as well as the cold sparkling waters. And that's it. So my biggest tips for today is just to go gentle. Lots of people will say day one is really easy for the fasting mimicking diet because it's more calories, right? 1,100 calories on day one compared to less than 800 for the rest of the week. So in that case, it's an easy day. Other people will say it's actually very difficult because it's a difficult thing to do. But, in terms of like watching your food, if you're doing a DIY version, you're weighing everything, you're just doing all of that extra work, but we're spending more time with our food as opposed to just ripping open a packet from Prolon. Not that I have anything against Prolon. I love Prolon and I love their products. But if you want a fresh food version, which is a very different fast, I still get into a fasted state and I will be with you all week. I'm going to do my best. Come with you every week and I'm going to show you exactly what my ketone readings are at. So let's see. So in the meantime, I'm going to get a fork and start eating my breakfast at 3 p.m. But go easy on yourself today and just have reverence for the human body. And then the last thing, because somebody asked me about multivitamins and can I take my prebiotic, that's fine. Just the no collagen thing because we don't want to increase our protein. When it comes to nutrients, because people think, I'm not going to eat as much, I'm not getting nourished. With our DIY fast, it is all fresh food. The only thing that is not fresh food is oil. If you are a no oil person, we now have a no oil menu. Oh my goodness. The numbers aren't perfectly exact. It's like a couple of grams off. But my bet is that you will still get into a fasted state because I've experimented and been a little bit lenient with the food and the grams and this and this and that, but generally following these guidelines, I'm always in a true fasted state. But what I want to say is that within each of these plants, the cucumbers, the carrots, the avocado, the walnuts, there is so many nutrients happening here. It's not just the fat, the protein, and the carbs. It's tons of vitamins and minerals, in addition to potentially thousands of phytochemicals that are upregulating all of those minerals and vitamins to help them better absorb, better do their magic once it's inside of your body. So I don't want anybody to think like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be totally malnourished for 5 days. No, that's not the case. You are nourishing yourself, whether you're doing the official Prolon or you're doing a DIY fast. And we also have a lot of reserves stored in our bodies. Most of us have enough reserves to last like a month or two. So just keep that in mind if this is something that you are open to, you're considering. Maybe you're fasting already. And if you are, I hope it's going very well. And I think that sometimes having reverence for doing the hard work, paying attention, having some friction in our lives is a very good thing. It is a reminder that we can all do hard things. Like the fact that it's 3:19 local time, PM local time, and I am just eating now. On any other regular day, I'd be like, that is insane. I would have had breakfast. I would have had a snack. I would have had my lunch. I may have had another snack by now. I would have had 2 coffees by now. You know what I'm saying? So like all I've had is 1 glass or 1 cup. 1 cup of this stuff, 1 teaspoon of this with some hot water and a tiny nibble of a walnut and 1 tiny piece of a cucumber right now. And so we're fine. We're fine. And it's only for 5 days. The benefit is that we get to kick off a true fasted state and all of the benefits associated with that, which we will get into much more later on this week. So my plan is to show you every single meal type over the 5 days. We've got breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. I'm going to need 1 more, but I will share some hot tips. I will share questions that we're getting from our fasting group. Right now, we've kicked off a 5-week program. I've never done the 5 weeks before. We've only ever done 1 week together. But because I know how important it is, the refeeding portion, how to break your fast. And from my deep research on the internet so far, there's not a lot of information on breaking your fast the optimal way. Not to say that everybody has to follow a certain type of diet, but i.e., as long as you're eating a bunch of plants, a variety of plants, my belief is that this is optimal nutrition. And when we break our fast this way, we're doing very well. There's so many great recipes online today that we can cobble together a few that have a variety of whole plants that are delicious, easy enough to make. You're not breaking the bank buying all of these ingredients, and then you're putting all of your favorite recipes into a particular, let's just call it a meal plan. I don't really love that word, but let's just call it a meal plan. It's just how we're going to eat, right? But much more about the refeeding, because that is the most important part. I would say most people in our group, we want to lose some added body weight. Some people have a lot more to go than others, but we all know it is a pain in the butt to lose weight. And it's really, I shouldn't say it is really hard. I don't want to make any absolute statements. It can be really, really hard. I asked for one word from each of our fasters today, and the one word that really stuck with me was consistency. And so, for instance, I just got my blood drawn just to compare and contrast and just kind of do this on an annual-ish basis. And all of my blood markers look great. A couple of them are a little bit elevated, but that's okay. I'm doing this now. But what was my point? You know what? I'm too hungry. I can't think straight. Sorry. Consistency. That's what it was. Hello. So although my blood work looks great, I know that I can tighten up my consistency in the day to day, in the week over week, in the month over month. My weight goes up and down, up and down, up and down, 5 pounds here and there. I'm sure that's probably fine, especially as a woman. I mean, like, we can gain 5 pounds in like after one meal, but what I want to do is be more consistent, eat more whole plants, less refined carbs, which is what I do a lot of. And with that, yeah, there it is. Woo, here you go. Buon appetito. And again, if you're fasting, I hope it's going very well for you right now. Stay in the game. It's more like mind over anything else, right? And yeah, buon appetito. I'll see you tomorrow.